Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Join Terry with Tracer Rounds every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern to hear interviews with veteran artists, veteran business owners, and businesses that support veterans. Catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and MB Radio. If you miss a show, you can listen again on Wreaths Across America Radio every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Tune in to see if you are on target. MBR, giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
The interview of the week is brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Welcome to Tracer Rounds, and I'm your host, Terry, and you're on MBR, where we're giving veterans a voice, and tonight's voice is to DJ Nik. He is also a DJ on our platform, but he's also on multiple platforms, so it's not just us that gets to share in his talent. The whole world gets to share in his talent, and he's coming to us from Milan, Italy. Is that correct?
That is correct, Terry, and thank you so much for having me on the show today, and thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Well, there's so much more I could say, but I figured I'd kind of let you talk about your history and how you got started and how you got started with MBR and then just in radio in general. Can you just kind of give us a rundown of how you got your start into radio and then how you've progressed to where you are now?
Oh,
I know that's
pleasure.
a lot of conversation, but I'm excited to hear it all.
It spans, sadly, quite a few years now because I'm, 42 now. I started going into radio when I was 18, so a few moons have passed since then. But what happened was at the time when because I'd been a music journalist for the longest time, so I'd interviewed all the artists I really wanted to meet and such, and done tons of reviews for CDs that I would receive and such. It was something I really, really enjoyed. But I was like, how can I further my passion for music? And that's when a light bulb went off, and I'm like, should I try my hand at DJing? And what happened was I was approached by a wonderful lady who sadly is no longer with us, Diane Landry from Texas. And she got me the start on a radio station. It was an internet station at the time. And she's like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, at the time I was more a rock and metal head. And so I was like, I really want to do a show bringing people European rock and metal. And, because the audience was mainly American, I was like, maybe they don't know these artists. Let's see if we can do something a little bit different. So I did that for a while, and it was great fun. And also got to once again have great artists on the show to talk to and such. And then I came across MBR, and once again, I heard heard great stuff. They were not in the early stages, but they've been around for a couple of years. And at that time, I'd switched from doing the Metal from Milan show to doing Whiskey and Cigarettes, which is my current show, which is a country music show, or rather, I guess I should say a roots music show, as we cover all the genres that fall under the Roots label. So country, Americana, bluegrass, Southern rock, etc. And so I asked them if they want, and they were like, yeah, by all means, we don't have a country show, so come on over. And I did, and I basically been part of the furniture since then.
Wow. How long has it been?
With MBR?
Yeah.
I think it's been about, could it be possibly 20 years, possibly?
Oh my goodness. So you're really OG of MBR. You've been here a long time.
I think Joel and I are probably the OGs, when it comes to who was there at the time, because he at the time was a DJ. He hadn't our overlord, but and so it was also great to see Joel kind of rise among the ranks and then ultimately take over. So that was a wonderful journey to see for me personally, and still be here now under his management. So I'm super happy to still be here. I'm glad that I still have a place here, and hopefully I will continue to do so. And I also want to applaud you for your work, Terry. You do an absolute great job. I've been checking out some of your stuff, and you're awesome at what you do. So I'm really happy, to call you a colleague.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate that. That's quite a compliment. I'm a little bit speechless, if that's possible. I don't know if it's possible, but they dub you the Romeo of the Rodeo. How did you get that title?
You know what? That was actually bestowed upon me by a Canadian artist by the name of Amy Lee. I was at my first award show. I was nominated for International Radio Personality of the Year in Nashville. And I'd met Amy a couple of times, and I hadn't met her. Sorry, I'd interviewed her, and this was the first time I actually met her. And so we were at the Silver Bullet Saloon in Nashville, along with all the other nominees. And what happened was, it's customary for Italians when they meet somebody, usually a woman, to give them the 2 kisses a week. This is completely, mind you. I did not realize at the time it was not normal for North Americans. So because we did develop a friendship and all, so I sort of like Amy. I rushed up to her and I kissed her on both cheeks, and she's a married woman, mind you, and her husband was there, but it didn't cause any problems. But she looked at me and said, "I could get used to that. You really are the Romeo of the Rodeo." I'm like, "Well, thank you. I like that name. I'm going to keep it." So that's how that came about.
That's an awesome story. But yeah, I mean, in other cultures, things are customary there that aren't necessarily customary here. So yes, I understand. It's not really like so much of it's more of like a cordial greeting for you, I guess, versus like for us.
Yeah,
like,
with age, I've learned to with age, I've learned to ask. Much more impetuous, because okay, this is how we do it over here. I'm sure it's fine over there.
Right.
And so and now I've learned when it comes to my American friends, I'm like, is it okay if I give you 2 kisses on the cheek, or do you just want to do a handshake?
Well, it's good that you asked, just in case.
Yeah. I don't want any angry husbands or boyfriends on my case.
Right. So do you come here often, or you mostly do your show from Italy all the time, or how does it work? Because you came here for awards and things like that. So do you come here and interview, or do you just interview solely from Milan, or how is that happening?
I haven't been to the States in the longest time, and it's very sad for me because I love America. Visiting, I have so many friends over there that I have not even met in person yet, and I've worked with for the longest time, because outside of radio I also podcast as well. I've been podcasting most States and podcast with them for years, but I've never met them in person, and that is a big goal of mine. But yeah, last time I think it was like mid 2000s, if that I was in St. Louis, my cousin's wedding. She lives in America. She is married to a Missourian, so we went for her wedding in St. Louis, which was fantastic. But when it comes to the interview stuff, yeah, I don't really get the chance to interview folks once again in person. Thanks to the miracles of the internet and technology and stuff, one can do things like, through StreamYard or through Zoom or through Teams or what have you. So that's how I've been doing it now. What was crazy is I used to do it over the phone, and I literally would have to record. I'd have to use the speaker and record it with either my phone or recorder. Like when I'm talking sort of old school guerrilla kind of journalism at the time, so good not to have to do that and to be able to rely on VoIP services, and it makes life so much easier. And it breaks the barrier. I think you almost feel like you're in the same country, even though there is a significant time difference, of course.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's how many hours between you and I right now? Is it 8 or is it more than that?
So you are on the East Coast or Pacific Standard Time or Central Standard Time?
Central. I'm in Texas.
Oh, okay. Oh, yay. Fantastic. Yes. 7 hours. There's a 7-hour difference between us. I'm 7 hours ahead.
Okay. So it's in the afternoon there for you.
It's actually early morning. It's 2 in the morning over here.
Oh, it's 2 in the morning. Good grief. I'm sorry. I got you out of bed.
No, I've been up. I'm very much a night owl. I mean, my mind is pretty much set on Eastern Standard Time these days because of podcasting with folks in the States. Actually, before I hopped on here, I was literally finishing up a podcast with my friend Keith, and we just finished our review of Fantastic Four: First Steps. So, and he's in North Carolina, so it's all in a day's work for me when it comes to these apparently insane hours. Not to mention, I'm a huge hockey fan. I mean, aside from loving football, of course, because I wouldn't be an Italian if I didn't like football or soccer. But I'm a huge hockey fan, huge NHL and Montreal Canadiens fan. So I'm used to being up at all hours watching the Montreal Canadiens, even though they haven't been particularly good lately. I mean, it's sometimes like, why do I even bother? But, you have to root for your team in the good and the bad times. So.
That's right. No fair-weathered fans. You have to, it's got to be a diehard fan all the way through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you're on our platform almost every day of the week, and you do top 10 country, pop, rock, all that. So how did you decide to start with all those different shows instead of just doing the whiskey and cigarettes show?
Well, the thing is, since I love so many genres of music, even as I listen on a regular basis, I will go from anything start to I don't know, Eminem to all sorts. So and K-pop recently has become a huge thing for me lately. I love K-pop, but so what happened was I was like, yeah, country's all fine and good, doing 4 hours of country music or root music and what have you, but like, it would be nice to kind of bring in my passion for other music, go back to my old days of the rock and metal days, and so to find a way to do that. And so I went to Billboard and I said, let's do those. And so I went with the rock and with the global chart. And that's something I really, really am happy that Billboard introduced recently, is the Billboard global chart, because that way you get an idea of what the world is listening to, not just one particular area. So that's something that I've really been enjoying doing, especially the global chart, because you get so many different styles within that one chart. And so it's a great fun. I actually went out of my way, and this is just because I'm nuts and I don't have anything better to do. So I decided to create the Billboard Global Chart Top 50 Spotify playlist. And every single week I'm updating it. I know and this is just like a pet project. I'm like, I just feel I want to do this. And if people come across it and they add it to their playlist and listen to it in their car or have you, I'm happy. Yeah. And it's just nice to kind of share that with the world, if you will. So that's pretty much the story behind that.
So you're a little like a Casey Kasem, if you're familiar with Casey Kasem's countdown, top 40 countdown.
I wish I was half as talented as Casey or Wolfman Jack or folks of that era. I mean, those we're talking about legends there, and I wish I had half the personality and the charisma that they had, because when Casey was doing, you know, the countdowns and stuff, he just made it so fun and so different. It didn't feel, you know, because sometimes I kind of yell at myself. I'm like, yeah, you could do something to spice this up a little, but it's very hard because one, I don't want to try and, you know, emulate what's a legend like Casey did. But yeah, I kind of said, if I had 1/10 of that man's talent, I would consider myself exceedingly lucky.
I think you do. You've won several awards. What all awards have you won? If you don't mind me asking,
and it's still oh no, of course, and it still floors me to this day that I've even won an award, because I never saw that coming. So I've the one I mentioned earlier, which was for best international radio personality, and that was over in Nashville, and then I won another one for best radio show in Ashland, Kentucky. And those were the two trophies that I got to walk away with. And it's wonderful to actually have a little trophy sitting on your table. And I did that. And then there were a couple of digital ones that I received as well throughout the years. But I think the one that meant, I mean, I love them. Thank you for that, Amber. I appreciate it. But what really meant so much to me, I'm glad to know I'm looking young. I try. But anyways, no, what I was saying is the one that probably meant the most to me was the very first one I won. I mean, I love the other ones I won, of course, but as they say, you never forget your first. And the reason for that is there's another hilarious anecdote, an anecdote for you, Terry, if I may.
Yes.
So I was at, once again, after having made a complete fool of myself with Amy, and kisses on the cheek, and then also having been led into the bathroom by her husband because he was a Toronto Maple Leafs supporter and I'm a Habs supporter, takes me into the bathroom, shows me the toilet, and he says, "What does that look like?" I'm like, "It's a toilet seat." He said, "No, look at the logo." He's like, "The Habs logo is a toilet seat." I'm like, I'm not going to dispute that because you're 5 times my size, but whatever. So there was that. And so then, and then after that, everybody chilled out, had a couple of drinks and everything else. And we get to the awards, and I'm sitting there with my manager, and I'm like, I'm going to go out for a smoke because I don't know when they're going to get to me, so I might as well go outside and have a smoke. So I went outside. I'm smoking. And by the way, folks, don't stop smoking; it's not good for you. And I went back in, and I see the announcer singing "When the Moon Hits the Sky." DJ Nick, to the stage, please. I'm like, oh God, awesome. I missed my moment. And my manager's rushing up to the stage going, "Nick, where are you?" Because he announced the award and I was outside. And so I rushed up to the stage, grabbed my trophy. I'm like, "I'm so sorry, guys," and such. And so I gave him a little prepared speech that I had prepared and all that. And it was just amazing. It was an amazing night. And then after that, this one chap at the bar kept offering me drinks. And that was something that I'd never expect. He was literally, "What are you drinking?" And I'm like, let's go with a whiskey and Coke. And he says, "Put it on my tab. Anything this guy wants, put it on my tab." I'm like, wow, I don't even know this dude, and he's offering me drinks. This is amazing. And then the next day, walking around Nashville and people literally pointing me out and recognizing me, that was such a weird feeling. It was such a weird feeling, but it made me feel so welcomed because once again, you're in Nashville, which was, granted, things have expanded, but it is still considered the capital of country music. And
yes,
the best of the best have been there. And so I was like, I felt so humbled that people were literally pointing me out, going, "International radio personality." I'm like, "Yeah, cheers, man." And it was just unforgettable. And I cannot thank the people in Nashville enough for being so welcoming, so kind. And I just really felt like it was almost a second home for me. And it's true what they say about the southern hospitality. It really is a thing.
That's so awesome. I love that story. And it's because you're so likable that people just want to gravitate toward you and say, "Look, there he is. There's DJ Nick. We got to wait. We got to buy him a drink, a whiskey and Coke." Who all could say that? DJ Nick, the international radio personality. Like,
no,
that's
you're
an honor.
Too kind, Terry.
No, that's an honor. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to play Adios Amigo by Dallas Alexander. I don't know if you know him, but he's a Canadian Special Forces troop that's now a country music singer and just moved recently to Nashville to hone his craft. So we're going to play him and then we'll be right back with DJ Nick.
hotel window, many floors above. What's missing down there is love. Thinking through the smoke that fills my mind. Don't worry, it's not my first time. Adios, amigo. So glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. They say it's all inside, heaven and hell. What happened to that angel when he fell? Give it just one try. Tell me you don't like it. Be God for a moment and don't despise it. Adios, amigo. So glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. Step outside and breathe. Play a little in the street. Hope it's not me they're sending. Move on from over there. Get the kids a little scared. Oh, these fences, they need mending. Adios, amigo. So glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town. Adios, amigo. So glad I seen you. I won't be seeing you around. Adios, amigo. I've been looking for you since I stepped foot in this town.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
And welcome back to the Tracer Rounds podcast. And I'm with DJ Nik, and he is a radio. He is. Oh, I just muted you. I'm sorry. He is on our music side on MBR, and he's also syndicated with other platforms, and he has the Whiskey and Cigarettes show. And so I'm really fortunate to have you tonight because I really didn't think you'd say yes.
Well, as always, it's great hanging with you, Terry. And may I say that was a fantastic song you just played. Absolutely loved it. And I love the video. The video was absolutely awesome. And very much spoke to me, I have to say, because one, obviously it's country music, but secondly, I'm a huge comic book fan and I love the comic book style of that. So it kind of, spoke to me on multiple levels because I'm a big nerd, let's be honest. And so I love superheroes, I love comic books and so on. So that really spoke to me. And, Dallas did a fantastic job with that song.
He really did. And I love that it's kind of a Zorro feel to the comic book too. So Zorro's in there too. So, like you said, another superhero. So I really like how he put all those elements together and really made a very dynamic video.
Agreed.
Yeah. I love music too. I'm a music fan. I can't tell you everything about music, but I can tell you that I like just about every genre. There's a couple I might be like on the fence a teeny tiny bit, but other than that, I mean, I like country, I like pop, I like rock, I like rap, I like instrumental, I like jazz, I like blues, I like bluegrass, any kind of music. I mean, good music is good music no matter what the genre.
Well said.
And it sounds like, you're on that same concept because of all the different shows you host and, all the different things that you do on your platform. So tell me, who is like I'm so glad I got to interview this person or I got to meet this person. Who would be your one like, oh man, that's awesome.
Oh my, I mean, I don't want to sound, like I'm dodging the question or deflecting, but it's a very loaded question because I've had the privilege of meeting so many of my heroes or folks I admired from a musical standpoint. I count myself incredibly blessed, and I thought I'd never get the chance to talk to them. I mean, if I go back to my rock and metal days, I mean, I've had the chance to hang out with folks like, Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day. Oh, wow. That was a huge one for me. And that was amazing. It was literally at a Green Day show because I was interviewing Green Day that day. And so they went backstage. And so I hang out with Billy, really nice dude. And it was just wonderful to talk to him. Then another guy that I was a huge fan of, which I mean, they might be more popular in Europe than they are in the States, even if they are an American band, and that's Sabotage. And I met their lead singer, John Oliva, who I was a huge fan of, and I thought I would never get to meet him. And once again, got on the tour bus, chatted to the guy, and I'm like, I cannot express to you how much your music means to me. And because I always think you should thank them because, they're sharing their gift with the world. And they might hear it a million times, but I think, they can never hear it enough. So I think it's important to let them know how much music has impacted you. So, and I mean, then there are tons of other ones that I got to do when it comes to the rock and metal side of things. Lita Ford was one which was brilliant.
Yes, Lita Ford. Oh my goodness.
But here's the weird one with Lita. With Lita, it was on the phone. And we literally did something where we went through her discography. And so I had her pick 3 songs from every album of hers. And we literally went through them. And so she was on the phone for a significant amount of time with me to literally where she was driving. She went to a fast food restaurant with her kids. I heard it all. You could literally hear her kids in the back was like, you guys shut up, I'm doing an interview. And she was literally, so I was literally with her all the time throughout the course of this. It was really weird. But it was amazing that I got to talk to Lita. Once again, a really lovely gal. And then another very memorable one from that day, and then I'll get to some country ones here shortly. But the other one that meant a lot to me was talking to the guitarist from Vixen, who sadly is no longer with us. And that was also in her car. And at a certain point, she literally said, Nick, is it a problem if I just go outside and pee? I really can't hold it in anymore. I'm like, that's rock and roll, baby. Take it. Go ahead. I'll be right here. And so the listeners literally heard that she had to get out of her car and go out. And because I said she's a rocker, that's what they do. And so that was a great honor for me. It's very sad I said that Jan is no longer with us, but she was absolutely a wonderful, wonderful person. In the country world, well, there's quite a few. The first one that comes to mind is Tanya Tucker.
Yes, Tanya Tucker, of course.
I got to have Tanya on my show twice, and she was like so elated about it. She's like, you're in Italy? I can't believe I'm talking to you in Italy. I can hear you so clearly and stuff. I'm like, yes, that's the miracles of technology, Tanya. You appreciate that. And then she's like, I so have to come back because I love the name Whiskey and Cigarettes. I have to come back. So she came back, and other ones, I mean, I could just literally go down the list of how lucky I was. Charlie Pride was another one.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Another really fantastic dude. I mean, I have very little bad things to say. I've been very lucky. I've never had any sort of bad interviews. There have been a few, of course, but most of them were great. Bobby Bear was another one I got to talk to, and he was a big hero of mine. Hank Williams Jr.
Wow.
Who else was there? And here's the very sad one. I was supposed to interview Kenny Rogers. And what happened was I was in Nashville at the time. And I was just about to, it was the day before I had to leave to go back to Italy. My manager writes to me, says, do you want to interview Kenny Rogers? Which is like, is the Pope Catholic? I mean, and I'm like,
of course.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, obviously I do. I'm like, okay, he'll be available tomorrow at such and such a time. I'm like, oh man, I'm flying out. I won't be able to talk to him. And so I live with the regret now, because once again, Kenny's no longer with us either.
Right, yeah.
And I have that huge regret that I never got to talk to Kenny Rogers, because that's another one which would have meant a lot for me to talk to. I mean, but then there were so many other ones that as I said, I was incredibly happy with, both in the independent world and the established one. And once again, they're just such nice people. It's amazing, because sometimes you think fame and fortune has gone to their heads. They might be a bit snooty or what have you. But by and large, I've noticed that they're really down to earth. I mean, I think if you treat them right and such, they tend to behave themselves and be good. Luke Bryan, another guy I absolutely love. He was fantastic. Chris Stapleton was another one. I actually
wow.
Here's another fun anecdote for you. I actually was able to stomp Luke Bryan. I never thought I'd be able to do that, but I did, because we were doing the interview, and at a certain point I said, "You always have this huge smile on your face. What in life makes you smile?" He stopped, and he's like, I'm going to need a moment to think about that one. And it took him a while. I'm like, I literally stomped Luke Bryan, who's done so many interviews in his life. So I was like, you go. So it was, that was another great one. So, but like I said, I could go on all day, because as I said, I've been so lucky, because I've been doing this for so long, and I've had the chance to have so many people that I've gotten to talk to that have written and sung songs that, like I said, have made my life that much better. And so, I'm incredibly thankful to all of them.
Yeah, definitely. So is there any other DJs that you've wanted to meet, that you've met, that you're like, oh my goodness, I'm getting to be in the same virtual space as them, or literally in the same space?
Well, I'd love to hang out with you. I mean, if ever I'm in Texas, I have not been to Texas in ages. That was one of my first trips to the States. I literally was in Fort Worth.
Yeah, I'm right here.
There you go. Fort Worth I had a blast in Fort Worth. It was absolutely fantastic. I was hosted basically by Diane Landry, as I said, the gal who gave me my first gig there. And she's like, come on over to the house and so on, etc. You'll be my guest for a couple of days and what have you. And she introduced me to Cajun cooking. One of the most fantastic things I've ever tasted. So we had like the sausage gravy and the biscuits and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. The only problem was I came back, I was like, I don't know how many pounds I'd put on by then, because we ate this stuff like on all the time. I'm like, this food is really good, but it's kind of taking a toll on my gut. So I don't know if I could eat this all the time. But I'd love to meet you in real life, Terry, for sure. I mean, and heck, all the other folks at MBR would be wonderful to actually have a hangout and just meet everybody. It's I'd say you guys first and foremost, because you're the ones that I've known you for the most. And so, what is I have a question for you then, Terry. What is your poison of choice?
My poison? Like, what do you mean?
Like when it comes to adult beverages, is there an adult beverage that you particularly enjoy?
I don't drink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, because
can I buy you a fruit juice or a Pepsi?
Absolutely. Or a coffee. Yeah.
Or sweet tea. Does that work?
Well, I actually don't drink sweet tea because it's too sweet here in the South. When they say sweet, they mean sweet.
It's more sweet than tea.
Okay. It is. Yes. Yes. If you didn't put about 3 cups of sugar in it for Southern tea, it's not sweet enough.
Well, I guess then I'll buy you a non-alcoholic beverage then when I hopefully get the chance to meet you in person.
Well, that sounds great. I actually love mojitos, but a virgin mojito. I love those.
There you go. I'll keep that in mind.
Those are amazing. So I am just so fascinated by your whole career and how you really got started and how you were a music journalist and then transition to radio show host. How many platforms are you actually on right now besides MBR?
Well, when it comes to the stations syndicated, I think we're on, almost 30 syndicated stations at this point.
Wow.
Between FM and net, both over here nationally and internationally. Yeah, so I'd say, I mean, I'm terrible at keeping score with this kind of stuff. And that's why I have a manager, because you delegate and you let them deal with those headaches. As he once told me, and I don't claim to be, the super rock star DJ or what have you, but he told me, you're the talent, I'm the brains. Let me take care of this stuff and you just focus on the show. And that's pretty much what Michael and I have been doing. Michael's been my manager for, once again, I think for almost 15 years now that he's been my manager. And, it's because of him that I've had so much success and that I've enjoyed, the things I have, because the man is just top notch and such a great and such a wonderful person. He's a decent human being. He understands you. He's super patient, because I can get tetchy at times. I'm Italian. We're passionate people. Yes. So, I can be a difficult customer at times, but he has the patience of the Dalai Lama with me. And I really appreciate that. I mean, he's a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. Nobody's perfect. But, other than that, I love the guy to bits. And I definitely would not be here, I think, if it hadn't been for people like Michael.
That's awesome. That's really a good testament to your relationship, that after all these years, you can still say the same things and say, you complement each other's skill sets. He's really good at the scheduling and keeping you on task, and you're really good at doing the talenty things that you need to do, the creative things. So, I mean, that's a really great relationship, and that's a really great testament to that relationship, is your ability to just, depend on him to get you in the right place at the right time and to really help promote what you do, and just kind of be that rock that you need beside you when you're doing all this. I think that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have the Karate Kid relationship. I call him Sensei. He calls me Grasshopper. We've been calling us this for the longest time.
I love that. I love that. Well, I think we're going to take another quick break, and we're going to play a song you probably haven't heard. And it's going to be Joe Muse is the artist, and the song is Dead Man Walking.
Oh, nice.
Here we go.
Hombre muerto.
Dead man. 10 years hard time for stuff that I didn't do. You've been living on easy street. Now justice coming to you. You're a dead man. You're a dead man walking.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Welcome back to the Tracer Rounds podcast. And in the chat, Joel was there. So H Train and Amber from Into the Weeds and Tony from Inside the Who's Your Mind. And we also had Jose Flores with the Motivated Mindset. So all these guys are hosts and they're really digging your accent and they're digging what you do. And we do listen, and I do listen to you too at work when your show is on. I'm really excited
to I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I hope it's enjoyable at least, and it's bearable at least.
No, it's very enjoyable. I appreciate what you do. And I get lots of opportunities since you're on several different times. I get lots of opportunities to hear you. And I was like, I need to have him on the show. How cool would that be?
Oh, well, thank you. And I'm very, very glad to be here once again. And I will say this, I guess tonight it's all about the anecdotes. I feel like one of those old school. I feel like Keith Richards kind of relating his biography. Oh, yeah, back in the day we were doing this. No, I mean, no, I'm kidding. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to the accent, and that has been kind of been brought up multiple times, even in my interviews, because when I have most of my artists, the artists I talk to are from the States or from Canada, North America mainly.
Yeah.
And they always like, I was expecting an Italian. Why do you sound British? Right. And I'm like, this is just how I talk. And I mean, I guess tonight I'm gonna reveal the secret behind that, because a lot of people wonder what the story is behind this, why I sound like this is. Well, I was born and raised here in Italy. My father is Italian and multiple generations. My mother is South African. And she moved from South Africa to Italy when she was like 18 or whatever. Met my father, and here I am. But so that's why. What's really weird is I did not inherit my mother's South African accent. I got this. I guess it's probably because also my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, who lived in Brighton, England, she would send us, myself and my siblings, videotapes. When she came over to visit, she'd bring us videotapes of TV shows from the UK. So we watched a lot of British television, and that might have possibly influenced my accent. I don't know, but it definitely developed my love for British TV. Huge Doctor Who fan, of course, and all that. But yeah, and that's so. If anybody's wondering, this is why I sound like this. I've actually been told my accent is estuary English, which I love. I love the title, which kind of means within the London area, but not exactly. This was actually told me by a violinist and linguist. She's like, oh, because she is literally from England, and she was listening to my accent. It's like, that's estuary English. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. Now I have a name for it.
That's good. Yeah. So it is interesting. And I wondered about that. I didn't ask, but I did wonder. So what do people think around you? Because you live in Italy and you have that accent. So do they think you belong there, or do they think, what are you doing here?
Well, the thing is this, it always surprises them, because I am, fluent. Obviously, when I speak Italian, I've got a Milanese Italian accent, because obviously born and raised in Milan. And when I open my mouth and speak English, I've got this. And it always floors them, because they're always like, oh.
I wasn't expecting that.
And they're just blown away by it, because Italians, I mean, I love my country, don't get me wrong. But Italians are getting better at speaking English, and especially the latest generation. Now I sound like an old man, but that's how it is. The latest generation are getting good at it, because they're starting to watch films and TV shows in the original language, mostly English, with subtitles. So they're beginning to learn, speak it better. Fun fact: the theater that I go to, the movie theater I go to, offers films in English with subtitles. Okay. And I'm so glad, because I can't, as much as we have the best dubbers in the world, and actually, famous stars from Hollywood want to meet their Italian dubbers because they're that impressed. So I'm not just saying that. Yeah. But they offer, because I want to always watch movies in the original language, because I think it conveys the true feelings as much as a voice dubber can do. And so it's great to see so many folks going to these showings in the original language. Case in point, the other day, I went to see the new Fantastic Four movie. And within my movie theater, there were tons of folks and they were just speaking Italian, but they were there to watch it in the original language. And so I think it's a wonderful thing that we get that opportunity. I mean, I will even watch films that are in languages I don't speak. I love Squid Game, for example, and I watched it in Korean with the subtitles because I wanted to hear it in the original language. I know it's also dubbed, but I would rather hear it in the native language because I think it just brings forward more of the expression when it comes to watching a TV show or a movie. Sorry to go down that tangent there, Terry.
No, I totally agree with you. I watched Rambo in French, and it just does not have the same dynamic as when you're hearing it, in English. Hearing French, hearing Rambo speak French was
not, I couldn't imagine Sly Stallone in French.
It was not good, and I was like, no, I want to hear it in the language it was originally produced in, and so I'm 100% with you on that. I think even if I don't speak the language, the intent and the acting is all geared towards the language, and all the intonations and on the inflections are all about that language. And so it conveys so much more of the meaning behind the movie and behind the feeling and everything that goes along with the dialogue. So I 100% agree with you. I'd rather watch subtitles in my language and hear the movie in whatever language it was written to be in. I totally agree with that. I think that's on point. And I think it's on point for songs too. When they translate a song from the language it was written in, and then they put it into English or another song, it kind of loses something, in my opinion.
You bring up a great point, because for the longest time in Italy, pop songs, I mean, of course, they had the original, they had their own, we have our own, obviously, pop songs, but for the longest time, way back when, so like in the 50s or the 60s or what have you, they would take famous, English songs or English language songs and translate them into Italian. Or even more interesting, you would have the original artist who sang that in English, sing it in Italian. Neil Sedaka did that multiple times. Wow. Paul Anka did that multiple times. Yeah. And they would literally come over and they would sing their songs in Italian. And it was, it was kind of fun. And it was an interesting thing. There's actually, speaking of country music, Faith Hill's song "This Kiss," which was super popular, of course, then became popular for an Italian pop artist who had literally translated the song and made it her own. And it was so funny to go to my friends and say, "You guys know this is actually originally an American country song, right?" None of them had a clue. I had to play it for them, but it's kind of fun. No, there are some. I mean, it's hit and miss. Some of them, like you said, you lose the original sort of oomph that they have. Yeah. Sometimes I guess it can work. I suppose it's also bias, isn't in the sense that if you've heard that version first, you're attached to that particular version as well.
Yes.
Like a cover of a song, it's like, oh, they can never do that better. I don't know. You think of Knocking on Heaven's Door. Some people are like, oh, Guns N' Roses, but there might be the Dylan fans like, no, it's the original Bob Dylan. I'm sorry. So it varies.
That's true. I agree. That's true. Well, it's like, I don't know if you know much about Supertramp, if you were a fan. I was a huge Supertramp fan. And, they sampled part of, is it Breakfast in America off the album, and they Take a Look at My Girlfriend, and they put it in another song, and it works really well in there. And I actually like that they included it. So they took something old and made it new again with other lyrics, that go along with it. And I like when they do that, when they bring back something that was really iconic at the time, at least in my mind, it was. And they put it in a song, and they're like, oh yeah, that's super cool. I'm like, yeah, that's a really old song. You didn't know that, did you? No.
But what? If you can introduce it to a new audience, it's a great thing, because they're getting exposed to something that was iconic and important, and it's now being brought forward to another audience. Granted, it might come there in a different form or a different shape, but it makes me think of Kid Rock's All Summer Long, who folks who are maybe not familiar with Werewolves of London, and such, and because obviously some folks had never heard of Warren Zevon, but it kind of exposes them to that. Granted, for them it will only be Kid Rock, and they were like, oh, who's Warren Zevon? I don't know what this werewolves thing you're talking about. But I thought it was kind of fun when it came to that particular situation.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I do like when they sample songs and they do kind of make something that's old new again. And then, like you say, expose it to another audience. Because it, really and truthfully, if you're just only listening to today's music, you're missing out. I mean, because there's so much good music that goes way, way back that if you're not listening to something that happened in the 50s and 60s, even 40s for that matter,
Oh yeah, there's so much great stuff from the
there,
40s.
yes, there
And I
really,
wasn't
really
even
is.
a wink in my parents' eyes then. I mean, my father hadn't yet been born. My father was born in 46. So,
Yeah, right. But there's such good music because it's like music transcends time.
I
And
agree.
so good music is good music. It doesn't matter the genre. I mean, it really is good. It can transcend relationships, everything, time and space. Good music is good music, period. I
Oh,
think,
yeah.
so you shouldn't shut it out to just, well, it's not today's music. I don't want to hear it. That's old stuff.
No, you bring up a great point. Recently, of course, we lost the legend that was Ozzy Osbourne.
Yes.
And, I was obviously a huge fan of Ozzy's, but
Yes.
it makes me think of Black Sabbath. And if you think of the very first Black Sabbath record, which, if I'm not wrong, came out in 1969, and, their title album. And I obviously, I'd gotten into Ozzy first because I guess, I was younger. So I hadn't sort of gotten on the Black Sabbath train, no pun intended. But I was literally on the Blizzard of Oz stuff, etc. And then I was like, oh, let's check out his previous band, Black Sabbath. And I was listening to the first Black Sabbath record, like I said, 69. And my mother walks into my room. She's like, "Is that Black Sabbath?" I'm like, "Yes, it is." I'm like, "Mom, you know Black Sabbath?" She's like,
"What do you know about Black Sabbath, Mom?"
She's like, "This." She said, "Of course, I had the vinyl." I'm like, "Oh, right, 1969. That explains it." Or heck, even my dad, who I got from Ozzy Osbourne. I got stuff like Alice Cooper. I love Alice Cooper with a passion. And my dad is like, "Oh, I was going to like parties when School's Out was playing," and like, dang, my father listened to Alice Cooper. This is how many generations Alice spans with his music. And like you said, good music is good music, no matter what decade or period it was made in. But it blows my mind when you get to these artists who are like your parents were listening to, and now you're listening to them, and they're still going. So I of course I hope that Alice keeps going for as long as he can. But as I said, it's just amazing that artists like him can have touched so many generations without realizing it.
Yeah, it is amazing. Like Steven Tyler and
Aerosmith's
Aerosmith. I
another
mean,
one.
he's been around a long time, and the Rolling Stones and Mick Jagger. I mean, these, like you said, they're through the history of our teenage years. Our parents, they're maybe our kids even will still be listening to it. It's like,
The Eagles are still going live, aren't they?
The Eagles, they lost, well, with one of the sons.
I know they lost the guitarist, but
Yeah.
didn't I think Vince Neil come in to replace him temporarily or something like that?
Yes, I think so.
Vince Gill, pardon me, Vince Gill, yeah.
Yeah, he did. He did for a while. And just like the Beach Boys had the guy from Full House. What's his name? I just forgot his name. But he was the drummer for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I can't think of his name, but yeah, I love it when they get somebody that's a huge fan and they bring them in and then let them play, because they've been studying the music for so long and playing on their own. So
once again, introducing the Eagles to another generation, because the Eagles have been going on forever.
Yes. Hotel California. I mean, that's iconic, right? I mean,
California Desperado, you name it.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, the Eagles. And then everybody has to go to Winslow, Arizona.
Of course.
And stand on the corner.
They most certainly do.
My sister even did it. She sent me a picture from Winslow, Arizona, standing on the corner. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty neat how you get to sometimes live the music that you hear, like you get to visit some of the places they're talking about or something, and it just brings all that music and those memories home, I think.
Oh, I totally agree. And see that at the same time, though, when you listen to those bands or those artists that maybe not around anymore, they retired, you're really like, oh man, I wish I could have seen them live. Now,
yes,
lately I'm not a big concert goer, but if somebody told me, what concert would you like to? Where's your dream concert? I would say without even thinking about it, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would kill to see CCR with the original lineup. I believe John Fogerty is still doing stuff. I think he's now kind of gone. I don't know whether he's still with CCR or whether he's just a solo artist these days. But I would have killed to see CCR, back in the day, or the old lineup, because that's another band that I love so much because they transcend their genre. You can call them somewhat country. They're a little bit rock. They've got so many elements that they are able to please so many folks from different backgrounds. I mean, because you can be a hardcore country music fan and love CCR. You can love rock and roll and you love CCR. You can be a pop fan, you love CCR, because they are just that good that they can cater to so many different palettes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's on point. There's several artists I'd like to see too. That some of them are together, some of them aren't. But one of my favorite was Rick Springfield. I'm sorry, but I just loved him, and he's still performing, and he's like 70 something now, I think. But he's still out there killing it. It's like there's a lot of them out there like that. I saw.
Bruce Springsteen is still going, which is insane.
Yes. And REO Speedwagon, I think they just announced they were stopping performing, but I got to see them, and they were one of my favorites. There's several like that. I haven't seen the Gem Blossoms yet. They're supposed to be in town in September, and I want to see the Gem Blossoms. I love them so much. I love their music.
I hope you get to see them. I've heard that the shows have always been good, no matter what period. So I think I've heard it's a treat. They're friends of mine who are fans of the Gem Blossoms. So I think if you get the chance, if you get, the thing is, my friends have also very sort of eclectic tastes in music, and some of my friends have actually gotten the chance to see him, and they're like, it was epic. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen, and so because it's like, I thought maybe after so many years they wouldn't be able to bring it, but man, they brought it. And so I would highly suggest if they're in your area, Terry, or even a couple of states away, go for it.
I know they're coming with the Spin Doctors.
Oh wow, yeah, yes. Totally have to go.
Right,
I don't think we need any more convincing than that.
Right, that right there is like, oh yeah, let's go. Well, we're coming up on the end of our hour, and I really hate that because I really enjoyed our conversation, and I really enjoyed talking to you about your career and then about music, because it sounds like we kind of run in the same lanes of music appreciation. Like it doesn't really matter if it's country, because I love country too, and I love rock, and I alternative, like I love it all. Music is just, it's the heartbeat, my heartbeat actually. And I feel like it's the heartbeat of America and all the other countries, is because anything that if we can't share anything else between our countries, we can share music, and music, bridges that gap sometimes and brings us together, because I know this is kind of cliche, but music, I think, heals the soul and can really put people together when they didn't think they had anything in common. I think music is our commonality, and we can find some common ground if we can just share, some music and a drink and relax, right?
Amen. I couldn't have put it better myself. I think definitely music is a universal language. Even if you don't speak that language or understand that language, you can still bob your head and tap your feet and have a good time. So that was very eloquently put, Terry. I couldn't add any more to that. And it's very sad that this hour has just flown by. I guess as we say, time flies by when you're having fun, I guess.
Absolutely. I've enjoyed it so much. Is there anything you wanted to say right before we're taking off? Anything that's coming up for you that you want to share with the group?
Well, I guess first off, I want to thank you so much for your time and for having me on. I greatly appreciated it. It was a blast, and definitely very memorable indeed. When it comes to me, I guess, folks, if you haven't checked out the Whiskey and Cigarettes show, you can, of course, check us out on MBR, of course, every Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We play the very best and nothing but the best of country music from Alabama to Zac Brown, and also have great interviews with independent and established artists. So check us out. And if I may, Terry, I would like to quickly plug my podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
My co-host would kill me if I did not take this opportunity to do that. Yeah, so first off, I mentioned my love for comics. So you're fans of superhero movies, you can check myself and my co-host Keith Bliss on Happiness in Darkness, the superhero movie podcast, where we discuss any and every superhero movie under the sun. We recently reviewed the Fantastic Four First Steps. And last but certainly not least, Gold Standard, the Oscars podcast, where myself and there's two lovely ladies, Zan Sprouse from Ohio and Rachel Friend from Indiana, we have reviewed all the Best Picture-winning movies in chronological order, and now we're reviewing movies that we have picked, and all sorts of films have come out. So that's Happiness in Darkness and Gold Standard, the Oscars podcast, and you can find us anywhere where podcasts are found.
And I would say go check them out because I'm a fan. So you've got a fan for life. So thank you so much for coming on the show tonight and for sharing your information with us as far as what you're doing and you know how you got started and just sharing a little bit about you, because I see your name all the time, but I haven't got a chance to really engage with you. So this was my opportunity, and I'm so glad I had it.
I'm so glad I got to talk to you, and meet the legendary woman behind the legendary shows. So we're very happy to hang out with you, Terry.
Well, thank you. This is Tracer Round signing off.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.